Imagine a city laughing, thriving, and alive. One that lived without a single worry. Streets bustling with merchants, children playing, theaters echoing with laughter. But right beside it, a silent monster was sleeping. Mount Vesuvius. For centuries, it appeared harmless. Yet in just 24 hours, this thriving civilization would vanish forever. Ash falling like snow, roofs collapsing, people frozen in their final moments. A city wiped out in a single day, hiding secrets no one would discover for 2,700 years. This is Pompeii, and what you are about to see will shock you, haunt you, and change the way you think about history. Don't blink, because every second counts. Pompeii was a city that lived louder than time itself. Colorful streets, noisy markets, steaming bakeries, crowded bathhouses, and theaters filled with laughter every single evening. It was a city that felt immortal, untouched, unstoppable. The people believed their world was perfect. Nothing could shake their daily rhythm. But what they didn't know was that death was standing right behind them, quietly watching. Just beside the city stood Mount Vesuvius, silent, harmless, almost decorative. The people had grown so used to its quiet presence that they built homes on its slopes, thinking the mountain was dead. But monsters don't die. They wait. And beneath Vesuvius, something ancient and furious was awakening. Strange signs began appearing, small tremors, weird smells in the air, animals running away, water turning cloudy. But Pompeii ignored everything. The city was too confident, too busy, too blind to notice that the ground under their feet had already chosen their fate. They didn't realize that within 24 hours, the same lively streets would turn into a graveyard frozen in stone. While Pompeii slept under moonlight, something deep below the earth was roaring awake. Inside Mount Vesuvius, magma was rising violently, cracking the walls of the volcano from within. Pressure built like a bomb ready to explode. But above the surface, the night seemed peaceful. Lamps flickered softly in windows. Families slept. Waves splashed gently at the shore. And yet, beneath all that silence, the real war had begun. The mountain groaned, but humans heard nothing. A few homes shook, animals whined and escaped. And some citizens swore they felt heat rising from the ground. But no one took it seriously. They had seen minor quakes before. They dismissed everything as normal. But the real twist? Vesuvius was no longer just a volcano. It was a loaded weapon, with its finger already tightening on the trigger. If anyone had truly understood what was happening underground that night, they would have run for their lives. But Pompeii slept soundly, unaware that dawn would not bring another ordinary day. It would bring their destruction. At sunrise, the city woke to a strange stillness. No birds, no animals. The air felt heavy and bitter. And then, boom, a powerful quake shook the entire city. Walls cracked open, jars fell from shelves, water sloshed from fountains. People screamed and rushed outside, but only for a moment. Then they brushed off the dust, laughed nervously, and went back to their routines. Bakers continued kneading dough. Merchants reopened shops, children played on the streets. No one realized this was the final warning. Animals knew, dogs fled, horses panicked, birds vanished. Even the sea behaved strangely, its waves pulling back unnaturally. The earth was shouting, "Run!" But humans refused to listen. Had Pompeii evacuated at this moment, most of the city would have survived. But the biggest flaw of humanity is believing disaster will come. Tomorrow, not today. For Pompeii, there would be no tomorrow. At noon, the world changed forever. A thunderous explosion ripped through the sky as Vesuvius erupted with a force so powerful it could be heard over 200 miles away. A massive black cloud shot 30 kilometers into the air, forming a giant mushroom shape that swallowed the sun. The bright day turned into pitch-black night within minutes. Ash began falling like snow, first gently, then violently. Breathing became painful. People ran through the streets confused and terrified. Roofs groaned and cracked under the weight of falling debris. But the most dangerous twist? The people believed this was the worst of it. They thought if they hid inside their homes, the storm of ash would pass. They didn't know that Vesuvius was only getting warmed up. The true horror had not even begun. Ash was no longer harmless dust. It became a choking ocean. The sky rained burning fragments. Streets turned white and slippery. People coughed, screamed, crawled, collapsed. Mothers wrapped children in cloth to protect them. Elders stumbled through the darkness. Families fled toward the sea, hoping a ship could save them. But another twist, the sea itself turned against them. The water boiled near the shore. Boats could not approach. Homes began to collapse from the weight of ash piling on rooftops. Half the deaths in Pompeii happened because houses simply crushed the people hiding inside. Still, some citizens believed the eruption would soon end. They didn't know that the deadliest phase, the one no human could outrun, was on its way. Night fell, and Vesuvius unleashed its ultimate weapon, pyroclastic surges. Walls of toxic gas, boiling ash, and superheated air shot down the mountain at 700 km/h. This was not fire. This was instant death. Anyone caught in its path died before they could scream. Bodies didn't burn. They evaporated from the inside. The temperature reached over 1,000 degrees. People hiding in basements, corners, temples, all were swallowed in seconds. The city didn't burn, it vaporized. The ground shook like the end of the world. When the sun rose the next day, Pompeii was no longer a city. It was a cemetery of frozen souls. What remained were not bodies, but shapes of bodies. People caught in their final attempts to survive. A mother curled around her child. Two lovers holding each other tightly. A man shielding his face with his arms. A dog still chained, twisted in agony. The pyroclastic surge had killed instantly, leaving cavities where bodies once were. Centuries later, archaeologists filled these cavities with plaster, revealing the haunting poses of people in their last seconds of life. No other tragedy on Earth captured death so perfectly, so painfully. After the eruption, Pompeii vanished from the world. Ash buried it under 20 feet of hardened volcanic debris. The world forgot it ever existed. Fields grew on top of it, farmers walked above frozen history, and no one knew a perfectly preserved city slept beneath their feet. For 700 years, Pompeii remained a time capsule, untouched, unseen, unknown. Then in 1748, a worker digging for a well found a perfectly preserved human arm. The discovery shocked Europe. When archaeologists uncovered more, they realized the impossible. Pompeii had not aged. Everything was still there. Homes, furniture, food, paintings, tools, even bread still left in ovens. Time had stopped the moment the volcano struck. The excavations revealed not just a city, but a civilization stripped naked. Pompeii exposed everything, its beauty, its culture, its sins. Wall writings revealed political fights, scandals, affairs, and jokes. Secret rooms showed an underground world of gambling, illicit pleasure, and hidden wealth. The graffiti, the artwork, the architecture, everything told the story of a society at its peak. Yet completely unprepared for nature's wrath, Pompeii revealed the truth about Rome, its lifestyle, its society, its shadowy sides more clearly than any history book ever could. The city spoke louder in death than it ever did in life. Pompeii's story isn't just a tragedy, it's a warning carved into stone. It teaches that no matter how powerful a civilization becomes, nature can end everything in a single day. Technology, wealth, culture, pride, none of it matters when the Earth decides to remind us who is in charge. And here's the final twist. Mount Vesuvius is not dead. Scientists say it can erupt again. Millions live around it today. Pompeii is not just a story from the past. It might be a preview of the future, a mirror, a message, a reminder that life is fragile and nature never forgets. Pompeii died in 24 hours, but its voice echoes forever.